I'm preparing to make yogurt, or Leben, as we call it. Again, I'm starting with cold water in the pan. As I'm using milk, I'm going to heat up milk, and that way it won't stick or burn to the bottom. I've got a half a gallon of whole milk that I'm pouring into the pan. What I have here is a tablespoon of yogurt that I made from before. You need that for the culture. I'm going to pour a little bit of milk in there so that I can soften it. Pour the rest in the pan. And now I'm just going to soften this a little bit and thin it out so it's liquidy. I'm going to turn the burner on a medium-high until the milk starts to warm. It's been 5 minutes now, and the milk is warm enough and hot enough to be able to lower this down. You're not boiling the milk. What we're doing is scalding the milk. So I'm going to lower it down to medium, and then I'll leave it until it starts to rise. I did say not to let it boil, but to have it be scalded, it starts to slightly boil with a very soft boil. And I've not stirred it at all. There's no need to stir it. This is really a very affordable way to make yogurt because we make more than a little cup. You know, most of the time I make a gallon because we use it a lot. This is half a gallon. So I'm just trying to show you that you can make just a small amount. This is the way my mother used to do it. That's how I learned how to do it. And I've been doing it this way as long as I can remember. Now you can see it's starting to rise. It's taken about 5 to 6 minutes to get to this point. Now as soon as it starts to foam up like that, it'll go fast. That's when you should stay by it. Now you can see it's rising. As soon as it gets almost to the top, before it spills over, I'll take it off. I'm going to turn the burner off because my burner stays hot. And you can see how it looks. Again, you don't need to stir it at all. At this point, I'm going to take it off the burner. And I'll leave it until it's cool enough. And how I measure the temperature is to put my finger in it and count to 10. And the kids always laugh, but that's how my mom did it. At that point, I'm going to put my thermometer in there, and I can tell you the temperature that it needs to be for you to put the culture in. As I took it off the burner and put the thermometer in, it's at 190 degrees. And I'll see what the temperature is when it's cool enough for me to put my finger in it and count to 10. I've never done it with a thermometer before. Okay, it's reading 130, and I'm going to put my finger in and see if I can count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a little hot, but I'm used to making cheese and everything, so it's at 130 now. So I would say that's cool enough to put your culture in. I'm going to remove the thermometer. As you can see, there's a film on the top of the milk. I'm going to take my ladle and remove that skim, that little layer. It's okay if you get some of the milk with it, but you don't want the film to be in the yogurt. Took about 1/2 hour for it to cool down to about 130. I wouldn't go lower than 125 though, because you want it to be warm so that the culture will work. If it's too hot, it won't harden, it won't work. It'll be too hot for the culture, it'll kill it. Now I'm taking the ladle and I'm stirring it in very well to make sure that the culture gets in all the milk. And I'm going to pour it into these containers, the deli containers. You can put it in a bowl, you can put it in a plastic container with a cover. I like these because some of the recipes that I use the yogurt, some of the recipes I use the yogurts for, I measure by using this. And it makes 2 containers. Now I'm going to cover it to make it thicken. All I do is wrap it in a blanket. I leave it on my counter and not shake it or do anything once it's wrapped up. Keep it nice and warm. Now the longer you leave it like this, the more tart the yogurt becomes. So if you want a sweet yogurt like you buy in the store, about 3 to 4 hours is plenty. We like the yogurt a little more tart, so I leave it for about 8 hours. And then I transfer it to the refrigerator. It's been about 8 hours, and I'm going to open the blanket. And there's your Leben. It's nice and firm. It's a little wet. It does dry out after. I'm going to take them now. They're still a little warm. I have left them overnight sometimes, but this has been long enough. And I'm going to put them in the refrigerator.